Hello, welcome to Try Before You Buy. This channel is just what the title is. I'm going to try some products, sometimes food products, sometimes electrical products and other products. And then you can decide after I've reviewed them whether you want to buy. So, the first product I'm going to try is this cake mix by a well-known chef, Paul Hollywood, who's one of the chefs on the Great British Bake Off on TV. I'm a real big fan of the show, and I'm looking forward to trying Paul Hollywood's Belgian chocolate brownie mix. So if all goes to plan, they should look like that when they come out, and and then see how they taste when I've finished baking them. And also I'll compare the cost to see if it's worth the money. So tune in for this edition of Try Before You Buy. No, I don't. So let's have a look at the instructions first of all. So on the back of the box it says you will need 150 grams of unsalted melted butter, 3 medium eggs which are beaten, and a 25 by 20 centimeter greased and lined baking tin. So I've got the 3 eggs. I've lined this 20 centimeter baking tin. Now he says it should be 25 by 20 centimeter baking tin, but I couldn't find a 25 by 20 centimeter. I could find a 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter, so this is a 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter. So if anything, it's going to make them a little bit thicker than what they should be, but that's about it really. Just 5 centimeters difference. And so I've lined it with some grease-proof paper. I'm just going to spread a little melted butter on it, just to oil it, so it's greased. This tin's got like a false bottom on it, so it should be easy to get it out once it's made, but not all tins do. Right, so I've now got a grease lined baking sheet in place. So this is the first instruction here, number 1, and it says preheat the oven to 190 degrees or 170 degrees fan, gas mark 5. So my oven is now being heated at 170 degrees because it's a fan oven. And it says, and line a baking tin with non-stick baking paper, which I've done. Using an electric mixer, blend the melted butter into the entire brownie mix. Mix with the mixer, running slowly. Add the beaten eggs until you have a rich, smooth batter. So the butter I needed was 150 grams of unsalted melted butter. So I've melted that in the microwave. It's only taken about half a minute, maybe 40 seconds to melt that in the microwave. So let's open the packet, see what's in the packet. So in the packet it's a bag of cake mix. Right, so I'll put that into a bowl. And that's the oven. Telling me the oven's heated up, so we'll get a bowl now. And put this in. So we need 3 eggs that are beaten, so I'm just going to beat them in a separate bowl. So there's 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to beat it with a fork. So I'm going to pour the melted butter into this mixture now, and I'm going to beat it with the electric mixer, just stirring it to mix it in first, so that when you put your electric mixer in it doesn't spray all the dust everywhere. It is quite thick. Feels like a biscuity dough rather than a cake dough. Doesn't tell you what size eggs to use. I think the ones I've put in here are medium sized eggs. Right. So, electric mixer. Gonna put some wetness in with the beaten egg. So that's the smooth batter. Until you have a smooth batter. It doesn't tell you how long to do it for, as long as the batter is smooth. And then you pour it into the lined baking tray. Let's just give it a little few more whips first. All the lumps are take them blades off. Right, and now we'll pour it into here. I need a spoon, I think. So, to help it out with a spoon because it's quite thick. I'm just pouring it into the middle and then I can spread it to the corners in a minute. So just make sure it goes to all corners and it's flattish on the top. Right, I think that's about right. So when you've done that, it says place the tin on the middle shelf of the oven for 20 to 25 minutes until baked. So let's put it in the oven. Right, I've just taken it out the oven. That's what it looks like. And it says if you put a skewer in, it should come out moist. I'm just going to try that. Don't have a skewer, so I'm going to use the end of this whisk. Where shall I stick it? Oh, yep, looks like it's moist on the end there. Can you see that? So you need to leave it to cool now, and it says on the box it should make 20 squares when you cut it. So I'll leave it to cool and then I'll cut it. And it says on the box as well that it should crack slightly on the top and it should be moist in the middle. Looking forward to this. So it says you can't dust it with some cocoa powder. So I've got this little, have you seen these little contraptions before? You just put the cocoa powder in, it's like a little sieve really, and then you can dust it with a cocoa powder. I'll just give it that extra chocolatey flavour, hopefully. Not too much, it'll be too bitter. So it's had time to cool now. I'm just going to take it out the tin. So, just in case I press it off from the bottom. Like so. So I'm just going to transfer it onto a plate now. A bit easier to cut. The edges have all wrinkled up a bit and the middle seems to have sank a bit. I don't know if that's normal or not. Just going to use this pizza thing just to mark out where I'm going to cut it. Instead of doing 20 pieces like it suggests, I'm going to cut it into half and then quarter it. And I'm just marking out where I want to cut it first. And then we'll cut it in half again, cut each of these sections in half again. And then we'll cut half them vertically. Right, I've marked where I want to cut it. moment of truth. Oh, doesn't look like it's cooked in the middle, does it? I don't think it should be that gooey in the middle. It's not cooked. Now what I did was I left it in for 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it back in the oven. I don't know if you can put it back in the oven after you've taken it out, but I'm going to give it a go. Well, I've let it cook for another 8 minutes. So in altogether it's cooked for 28 minutes. So I'm hoping it's going to be cooked inside now. It is supposed to be a bit gooey in the centre, but I don't think it should be like that. That just looked like raw cake mix in the middle. So I'm going to let this cool now again, and we'll see what happens when I turn this out. I've transferred it onto a wire rack just to help it cool more quickly, because I came back, it's been sitting here for about 45 minutes and it was still hot underneath. I lifted it up like that and felt underneath, and it still felt really hot underneath. And I don't want to start cutting it if it's too like melted in the middle, so I'm just going to give it another hour, probably 45 minutes or something, and come back again. Right, it's had plenty of time to cool down now, so I'm just going to slice it. Let's hope it's not like before. I don't know. I just have to cut it and see. Well, it looks, that bit looks like gooey in the middle. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like that or not. Let's just have a look at like that. Well, I'm not sure if that's even cooked, to be honest. And it's been in 28 minutes it's had to cook. So the ones at the bit at the edge, see that? Shouldn't be like that in the middle. So the bit at the edge is probably alright. Like that bit's alright. So I mean, what you've got to think about is this is got eggs in it. So if the eggs are not cooked, it can be quite dangerous. You know, if you're going to cook a cake, you need to cook it. So I followed the instructions. 20 minutes. I did the skewer test, and the skewer test just says is it moist in the middle, and it was moist in the middle. And then I cooked it for a further 8 minutes because of the centre bit being too moist. But it still doesn't look cooked properly in the middle. I know it's supposed to be gooey, but how can you tell how gooey it's supposed to be? If you look at that, that's definitely not cooked. So I'm not going to eat that. So I'll just discuss the cost with you now. I'm not going to put it back in the oven again because the outside's starting to burn, like the here starting to burn. I'm just not going to eat it. So I'm sorry, Paul Hollywood. I followed your instructions and this is what happened to me. If you've had the same kind of thing, or if you've had better success, then please message me and let me know underneath in the comment section. And but that is totally not cooked. Well, that was a disappointment. I'm just going to go over the cost with you now. So the chocolate brownie mix, Paul Hollywood Belgian chocolate brownie mix, is £2.40 at Sainsbury's for the box of the mixture. The butter, I needed 150 grams of it, so that's it's about half roughly, and just say about £1 for that. So that's £3.40. After reading the box again, it did say medium eggs, so it was lucky I did use medium eggs. And so these are the eggs I used, and I used 3 of them, so half, that's 75 pence on top of what I've just said already. So that's around £4.15 so far. I didn't have a cake tin, so I had to buy a cake tin. And the cake tin I bought cost £9.50. So I will be using this tin again for other things. So I'm not going to add it to the price. But if you're thinking about making those brownies and you want to follow those instructions of using a 20 centimeter by 25 centimeters, well, good luck with finding a tin that size. But so it's going to cost you about £10 for a tin if you haven't got a tin already. So would I recommend you buying this product? Well, if you look closely at his picture, you can see some of his brownies look a bit too moist on the inside too. So I think there is a problem with the recipe, and I think the problem probably is the recipe is telling you to use 3 eggs. It's such a small amount of dried ingredients that go into the recipe. So to use 3 eggs and to use like 150 grams of butter is also seems quite moist. Seems to be too much moist ingredients compared to the dry ingredients. And also I think the temperature, 170 degrees, is probably a bit too low. So, but even I think if you turn the temperature up, I don't think it'll make that much difference, because with all honesty I did put those brownies back in again, but I turned the heat up to 200 degrees and I left them in for another 10 minutes, and you know what, they were exactly the same when they came out, exactly the same, except a little more brown around the edges. So I followed the instructions to the T, except my tin was slightly smaller than he was asking me to use, and it didn't turn out. And so would I recommend you buy this product? I would say no. Is it value for money? Well, it is £2.40 for the box, but you've still got to buy the butter and you've still got to buy the eggs. So I would say no to that too. So I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news on this one, but it's not a product I'll ever buy again. So thank you for watching the very first episode of Try Before You Buy, and please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this, and if you've liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it very much. And so this next product I'm going to be testing is the Betty Crocker Tangy Lemon and Buttery Short Crust Bar Mix. It looks delicious on the picture, and so we'll see what that turns out like when I make that in the next video. So until then, bye for now.